Man, some people get mad at you when you disagree with them. Before I get started, I'd like to say thank you to my 2 patrons that help support this channel financially. And those 2 patrons are Mitchell and Donald. Thank you for your support. They've been supporting me for quite a few months now. And as a matter of fact, I would like to thank Donald especially for increasing his pledge this past month. I just happened to notice yesterday, and you had done it almost 2 weeks ago. But thank you for increasing your pledge. If you would like to support me and my channel, that's here on YouTube and on LBRY, go ahead and head over to my Patreon. And the link is down in the description below. Hey everyone, what's happening? So on Sunday, I released a video that was entitled, I Disagreed with Switch to Linux. This video has received so much criticism, I actually think it's funny. There have been lots of comments on it, and the like to dislike ratio kind of gives me a clue because it was something like 62%, which is one of the lowest percentages I've had on this channel. But I'm just laughing because I think it's funny. I also lost 4 subs on that video that I know about. Yeah, we'll discuss all of that. We're actually going to go over some of those comments because there are some things I would like to clear up, misconceptions and responses, etc. So what's the end of the video? But in response to some of the comments and feedback I received on that video, there's some things you should know about me and what I'm doing with this channel. Bottom line is, if I want to say something on this channel, I'm going to say it. I really don't care if it's going to offend somebody. I don't really care if it's going to disagree with a lot of people. I'm a highly opinionated person, and I am going to use this channel to express my opinion. And that's exactly what most things are, especially when I say I disagree with somebody. That is my opinion, and I have a right to have it. And because I have a right to my own opinion, I'm not going to change my opinion simply because it's going to piss somebody off. I'm going to say it. I'm not going to twist it. I'm probably not going to mince my words. I'm very, very straightforward in that regard. And quite honestly, if that offends you, I really don't care. Because really, I've said this before on my channel, and I'm going to say it again. The Linux community is not your safe space. It's not my safe space. It really isn't a safe space.
It's because I'm not one of these safe spacers.
It's not my responsibility to create a video that makes you feel good all the time. It's not my responsibility to alter the content of my video all the time to try and please everybody, because that's impossible. If you disagree with me, fine, we can have a discussion in the comments section if you're respectful about it. The chances are you're probably not going to change my opinion unless you give me some factual reason why I should. Quite honestly, if you have such sensitive sensibilities that you're so offended by what my opposing view says, then perhaps you should just hit that unsubscribe button. And if you feel so strongly offended by my opinion that you have to hit that unsubscribe button, here's my response to you. I'm sorry to see you go, but while you go, don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. Excuse my language, and I kind of say that in jest. I really am sorry to see you go, but really, I'm not going to let that bother me that you're hitting that unsubscribe button. I also will say that my intention is not to offend anyone, but I know by simply stating an opinion, someone's going to get their feelings hurt or something like that, and that's okay, and it's okay you have an opposing view to mine, but I'm not going to change my view simply because you don't like it. So let's dive into some of those comments that I had on my I Disagree with Switch to Linux video. Now, I'm going to display them on the screen, and I'm not going to black out names because these were publicly made comments with their profile names on their video. And I don't see much point in blacking out someone's name if they made their comment public. You can easily go back to the video and read these comments for yourself. So that's the way I do things on this channel as far as responding to comments. So the first comment I'm going to go into is, you don't have to go at the Linux Mint developer for doing what they think is right for their distro. They at least listen to their users, and we all in the Linux community should welcome developers who seems to care. Because most don't, and no, I don't use Linux Mint, but I appreciate their stand. Well, okay. Number one, I'm not necessarily meaning to attack the Linux Mint developers. I simply disagree with their decision to block the installation of snaps by default. I thought it was unnecessary. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was a virtue signal to appease the very loud 1% that very loudly disagree with snaps. And as for listening to their users, I don't think that there were many Linux Mint users that went to the distro developers and asked them to block snaps explicitly. If they did, then I would probably say yes, they listened to their users, but I would like to see the proof of that, because I doubt it happened. Mainly because Linux Mint users are mostly new, and most of them probably didn't even notice a difference. So the second comment we're going over is, people don't understand Ubuntu forces snaps. But Snaps is formerly the flagship of Ubuntu distribution. Also, Ubuntu and Ubuntu Mate pre-installed some Snap stuff. Not all the flavors. I really like using Ubuntu, by the way. This is like elitism, because some people love this, or at least using Snaps. All companies have specific contents. If you don't love, switch to Debian or Arch Linux. What is the problem with this? I think Ubuntu just saved the Linux users and a lot of other people's. Alright, I think I got the gist of this comment. Number one, Ubuntu does not force snaps on people. It is pre-installed with the ability to install snaps built into it. However, you can remove snapd. I've gone into that in another video. Yes, some software that's also included with some Ubuntu flavors are distributed as snaps, but those are removed when you remove snapd, so I don't see the problem with that, and I don't see how that is forcing snaps. That's not forcing snaps, that's giving you a choice. As a matter of fact, you can install Flatpak from the Ubuntu repository without adding another repository. Ubuntu did not have to include Flatpak in their repositories, they chose to. So I would say they give more choice to their users as far as Canonical and Ubuntu is concerned than Linux Mint is giving to their user base. That's the problem, is that they are not giving the choice to use Snap. They're trying to take that choice away from the end user, and that is the problem with this decision. Now, don't get me wrong, I still like Linux Mint and what they're trying to do as far as the interface goes, but now they're not on the top of my recommendation list because of this choice that they made. So next comment, you're missing the point. APT is backdooring Snap with Chromium now. Who knows how many packages it will be in 5 years. LTS release. If Chromium Snap just showed up in the Software Center or Synaptic as a snap, that'd be fine. But for the command line package manager to go get essentially a different package manager without telling the user is unacceptable. Snap is coming through the walls, and I feel a great service has been done by Mint in figuring out a way to shut it down, which I might not be able to do. The only trade-off is that I have to make a tiny alteration one text file that the Mint team tells me how to do explicitly to get Snap is so minor in comparison. Is there even a person in existence who knows what Chromium is that can't edit a text file? This is not an issue for, say, Solus, which supports snaps, but also uses their own package manager and doesn't have to deal with that kind of backdooring. Yeah, I was not missing any points with my last video. Definitely not. Yes, the APT package for Chromium now installs it as a snap. And I do think they dropped the ball. They should have notified when you run a command line like that. And also, it would not appear in Synaptic as a snap because Synaptic doesn't deal with snaps, but well, that's a different issue. And the Software Center does tell you that's installing as a snap. I don't necessarily feel this is as big of an issue. The reason why they did this was when you were upgrading your operating system from one version to another, when they started only packaging Chromium as a snap, was to make it a seamless upgrade process, because that apt package would remove the standard package that was previously installed and install a snap in its place without you having to remove it and install a snap by hand. This was meant for a ease of use type situation. Now, I do believe they should have notified people while you were doing it. However, it was in the release notes of 19.04. And they made a big announcement. Everybody knew about it beforehand, so I don't see a big issue with that. Now, the reason why they're only packaging Chromium as a snap is because sometimes Ubuntu and Canonical, they are maintaining 5 or 6 versions of Ubuntu at the same time. Now, they have extended support releases, which are sometimes up to 10 years old, which are running older libraries, etc. And then you also got the standard long-term support release, which is 16.04, is still being maintained for another year. They got 18.04, and those two are running older versions of libraries. And then, of course, now we have 20.04 that's being maintained. So that's 3 versions plus the extended versions, which would be 14.04. That's 4 versions that they're at least 4 versions that they're maintaining right now. And you would have to make Chromium work in those other versions with older libraries that it was not designed to run with. And what they what they're hoping to accomplish with packaging Chromium, because Chromium updates constantly,
doesn't install Snapd by
package it
default
as a snap, so they don't have to package it once. And it's going to work with all of them. And yes, they're probably going to start doing this with major packages. Ubuntu probably might start doing this with major packages because it's just easier to package it once. Now, if you don't like this, don't use Ubuntu. You go use Solus. Go use Debian. Because they're not going to do that because they don't maintain snaps. Canonical maintains snaps. Also, the thing is, Chromium in Linux Mint didn't install a snap. Now, those were some of the polite comments. I got some rather rude ones, and those got deleted because my viewers shouldn't see those. Shouldn't have to read those, at least. If you like this video, go ahead and give it that thumbs up. If you didn't, that's what that thumbs down button is for. And go ahead and click that subscribe. And we'll see you next time. If you like my content and wish to support my work, you can do so on Patreon. The link is in the description. Also, if you wish to see more, check out the videos on your screen.